Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? What's good? This is your boy, Big Op, also known as Op from the Norm 18. I got a great show for y'all tonight. So as you see, the thumbnail said black folks debate each other instead of the candidates. Also, picture says whose plantation is better. And the reason why it's named that is because both of us don't seem to do our history or both parties that we talk about. Me and JVJ, we always talk about this. The Republicans had our votes, anonymously, like the most in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? No problem. They so-called freed the slaves, got our votes, but at the same time they were saying they don't want us here. Certain bills that tried to be passed they didn't always go through, and then a lot of times they would say, stay over there, don't come over this way. Then next thing you know, fast forward, the Democrats got our votes, even though at the time a lot of them didn't even want us to vote because they knew what we would vote, so they would try to bully us, threaten us about our lives even. You know what I'm saying? But we ended up going over there, got some things that we wanted, but then next thing you know, they got stagnant on doing what they were supposed to do for the black community in this country, regardless of us fighting in the Civil War, world wars, whatever war you want to name. Regardless of what we did and all that we went through, it was still a lot of bullshit that we had to deal with. But it's all good because now we got brothers like us that's in this place where we're not taking the bullshit no more. You know what I'm saying? It's more people becoming independent, but I wish it would be more and more. You know what I mean? Let's go out the policies that we need. We see what the Democrats are doing right now while they're in office. They're giving everything that's needed to be given to other people versus us, people that are not even from this country, in the ways that they do us. So it's really, really sad, but in reality, this is a business move. Don't let nobody try to trick you off your square and try to tell you that you are wrong because you're not gonna vote for somebody that's cosplaying black. We ain't doing.
They wanted to put money into these motherfuckers and give them resources that black people had been arguing for. So it's fucked up all the way around. But we need, like, for real, man, we need the context of what's actually going on. We can't sit here and be like, oh, the Democrats are just giving shit. No, the Democrats said, if y'all are illegal and y'all in our states, we will not fucking report you to goddamn ICE so they can come pick your ass up. We're not gonna report you. They didn't say shit about we want y'all to be here, we gonna support you, we gonna give you rights. That ain't nothing what the fuck they said. Just like when Republicans say they wanted open borders, the Democrats want open borders. They never said that. You cannot find one video of one Democrat ever saying that. But they're playing on both sides. They're playing on our fucking emotions. Both of them are fucking up because these are all these issues that they speak about are issues when they both control the House and the Senate. Democrats and Republicans had the House, had the presidency and all that. They could have fixed these problems. They didn't fix it. They think we're so dumb that we're going to sit here and constantly keep arguing about the problems when they've had the opportunity to do what they needed to do. They don't want to do it. They don't care about doing it. They just care about saying some shit to us because we dumb, and then we sit down here and just do this. You got all these niggas on the panel right now about to fight each other over some shit that it ain't their fucking problem. The bitches need to be worrying about paying their goddamn light bill. But instead, they in here fighting about what a motherfucker in another state getting. That ain't our issue. But I'm shut up again. I got triggered. I'm sorry. I'm slide back and let me know
No, you.
when you want me to drop that link though.
Yeah, I was about to, you go ahead and drop the link. Anybody want to come up? We had this conversation. Jay about to drop the link. Actually, but see, my brother, I got to correct you because in case you got the
Uh-oh.
video that we showed. That one time I did do the show. You forget that Kamala Harris did talk about us being a better nation for us what they do with the separation of those families with the illegal immigrants as well as them coming over here trying to have a new life. It's influence. It has been influenced by the Biden Harris administration. So when you say that they're moving those people to other states, You got to remember that has been Biden and Harris influence because it also showed that video. It showed what the government was giving. It showed what the states was giving. All these states was adherent to the influence of the president and the vice president. So they do have something to do with that because you got to remember, if that was the case, they would have been doing that. Because out of all these years, this is shit that's not new. It's been going on, but this is the first time we've seen an influx like this, and federal or state and local have been giving out money like this. So it is an influence, and I guarantee you, by next election, we are going to see a certain amount of people. We're up to it right to the next election. I'm telling God, whether I see what's going to happen, we're going to have a lot of people that became legal that were illegal immigrants. Watch what I tell you. But anybody that want to come up, go ahead, come up. We're going to go ahead try to, I might need me another drink. We're going to try to go ahead and stomach some more of this ratchetness with all these people that got all this, whether they left or right, all these people that got degrees and got all of this experience, these careers, served in the service. We're going to watch them. We're going to watch them act like stupid ass little nigglets. Go ahead, Jay.
Agency in the United States says that the biggest threat to America is white supremacists, actually.
Okay, well, to piggyback off that, just discussing the resources, as a former foster child, had I aged out, I would have only left the orphanage with a garbage bag full of clothes, and they would have given me a $700 check a month and told me good luck. So I think that it's disgusting, a spit in the face to kids like me who didn't ask to be born into the situations that we were born into, that we would never be able to qualify for the resources that are literally being given to somebody else. Additionally, let's talk about the reasoning why they're coming over here, because we keep talking about the type of people that are coming over here. Let's look about the reasoning why they're even letting them come over here. Black people are no longer fearing that the Republicans are going to take away our right to vote. These voter suppression arguments are no longer working. Yet if you can threaten an entire demographic of people, it's at 10 million now. We can only imagine what it would be in the next 4 years if this woman wins this office. In which case, now if you tell that large of a demographic of people that they will lose all of their benefits and their citizenship if they were to vote for a Republican, you can guarantee that you now have a new loyal voting base. So in the same way that Black people have been prioritized last, every time we're prioritized first during campaign season, prioritized last during an administration. We're going to go see us be kicked out of the room. We ain't even be on the list once these migrants have come over here. There's already 10 million. There's only 49 million of us here. There's only 49 million of us here. Yep. And then if you think about the voter apathy that exists within the Black community, yep, there's not 49 million of us voting. But you can guarantee every single one of those illegals who can get out there and vote is gonna go vote.
Well, when we have more time, if they're not U.S. citizens,
they're literally voting in our elections.
To make them citizens.
Not even just make them citizens. They're getting IDs as soon as they get over here.
Are they illegal or are they not?
They're illegals, and they're voting in our elections.
One or the other. They got to be. Are they illegal or not? So
should they be citizens?
But no, we're talking about this election right now.
The should is what's driving the vote. The should is what's driving the vote.
Michaela, I would like to ask you a question.
Okay, hold on, guys.
Foster care in which state?
California. The same California that is giving $150,000 to illegal migrants. But if my sister, who just aged out of foster care 2 years ago,
hold on, wait a minute. I agree with giving black Americans the money for it, but I do want to ask you this because again, this is where this Republican talking point always gets me confused. You were aged out at what age?
No, I didn't age out. I was adopted. Okay. I'm talking about the people who don't.
Okay, but when you said wasn't born, didn't ask to be born in a situation.
Yeah, like my mom was on crack and my dad was in and out of prison. Right. That's not a situation I should have to pay for it yet for whatever. That's right. But the government didn't feel bad enough for me to give me or my family those resources.
Ma'am. I just want to know, when I hear the Republican talking point, I just want to know when they say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
I did
when they say, let me finish. I'm talking about to people that didn't, who were born, because we talked about this before, people that were born with incarcerated parents, people that were born in destitute situations. Because your brother would always say, you have an opportunity to get, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, what do you say to the Republican that says that despite the situation you were born in, because none of that is systematic, none of it matters, I'm giving the opposing side, none of it matters, pull yourself up by the bootstrap, you're not a victim, don't be a victim, don't cry. What is your answer to a lot of conservatives that say, regardless of the situation you were born in, that you didn't ask to be born in, I'm not talking about immigration, I'm talking about Black Americans.
Yeah.
What is your answer to that? Because Republicans say all the time, to stop being a victim and to pull yourself up by the bootstrap.
I genuinely believe that once you stop believing that everything is set up against you and that you can't win,
but just a minute ago you said it was set up against you because they didn't ask to be born in the situation.
They were asked to be born into this situation, yet for whatever reason they're not offered the same resources that somebody else who also.
The conservatives say pull yourself up by the bootstrap. They say don't worry about resources. Okay, conservatives say don't worry about resources. They say don't worry about it, regardless if the parent was born on crack.
Being empowered, we're talking about context.
I'm talking about context. Okay. Conservatives say all the time.
Pull yourself up by the bootstrap,
including this brother.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm saying regardless of whose daddy was on crack,
these people pull themselves up by the bootstrap, they should be willing to help others.
That's right, but I didn't ask you that.
Now this is wasn't a Republican talking
I
point,
asked-
Republicans wouldn't give it to anybody.
Right, I know.
Okay,
So
so,
that's
there's that. I
Yeah.
came up, I didn't have to get any of that. And yet I walked into a 6-figure job.
Yeah.
I dropped out of college and did the same thing. Raising
Yeah.
my daughter by myself.
Yeah.
I don't
just-
believe that was telling yourself things aren't going to work out for me or, oh my God,
I'm
I
not
have
telling
messed up.
that.
It's
I'm just-
once you believe that, that is your
I'm
life.
not talking about
You
belief.
tell
I'm talking
yourself,
about-
I'm going to win. I'm
Right.
going to win.
We
You're
got
gonna
that,
win.
but I'm just saying people that born. I just want to see your opinion on people born into.
I went to the
destitute
illustrious
situations.
Clark Atlanta University
Yeah.
and they told me to find a way or make one.
Right.
So anybody
I
born in
believe-
any
I believe in
situation
that.
will do just
Then
that.
there's no point.
All right,
talking about
pause
the
real quick, Jay.
situation.
It is.
Let's move on.
Because right
All right, this is the stupid shit that me and Jay be talking about all the fucking time. You got these black Republicans, conservatives, that want to holler, pull yourself up by the bootstrap. Stop crying and complaining about not getting the reparations as a handout, even though it's something that is owed to us historically. But then when we see what the Democrats are doing for illegal immigrants, not legal immigrants, but illegal immigrants, even some of the legal immigrants, they saying that's not right. Y'all could have gave that to us, or the white ones or whatever, saying y'all could have given them a fraction. But then you'll still have what she's trying to ask her a sensible, logical question, like, all right, well, you as a Republican, what do you think about the fact that you just said you was born into a destitute situation? This is not fair. But then you say, no, I ain't worried about it. Then shut the fuck up. This is exactly why we keep going through this merry-go-round and this stupid ass shit to stupid motherfuckers like her. And it's always coming from the right. This don't help our situation at all. You a fucking puppet. You was able to pull yourself up. Awesome, great. But then you just say your sister aged out of the foster care? Make that make fucking sense. This shit is just is just crazy, but we ain't gonna this is why we ain't getting nowhere also. And a lot of people had comments to say, man, we dropped the link. If y'all don't come up sooner or later, we're gonna bounce up out of here. So the link is in the description. You wanna come up? All right, we got one brave soldier, got Red in the building. What's good, Red, man? Say what you got to say so far before we get back with this ignorant shit.
I was 100% with you, and I'll explain why later until this, because two things can be true at the same time. Okay, it is true that a society in which everyone can be
Red.
and so
Wait, hold on, Red. You sound a little muffled.
Yeah, you muffled real bad.
Hold on. Is this any better right here?
No, it's still it's still kind of saying, go ahead, drop out and come right back in. Maybe it might help you a little bit.
All right, I got you.
All right, y'all. So while Red drop out and come back, we're gonna go ahead and back to this ratchet shit on Ratchet Revolt.
now people are
Let's
being
move on.
allocated resources.
Let's let
And we
it
have
move.
people who
No,
need
but
those
the
resources.
conservatives say
We're
don't
talking
need
about the fact that
resources.
we're not prioritizing
Let's
American
let Young
citizens.
Johnson. No, but
We're
that's what
talking
I
about
asked
we're
you.
not prioritizing
No, you heard
American
me say at the
citizens.
beginning of what I said, that I believe it should go to American citizens first.
Okay.
I said that, ma'am.
Okay,
I just
so
asked you
I'm
what was
pointing
your
out the fact
response.
that when we're talking about immigration, we understand that
But that's what
Republicans
I
will
asked
not
you.
give out these resources.
That's all I wanted you
My
to say.
point is Democrats are only
That's all
proposing
I
that these
asked you.
resources go to a
Sis.
certain group, and black people need to pay
Ma'am.
attention to the fact that y'all won't get those
Ma'am,
resources.
ma'am,
That's the point. Y'all go ahead. Y'all move on.
ma'am,
I'm right.
we
Move on.
said that it's not about right or wrong.
It is right.
No, it's not.
It is
I just
right.
want to know.
Black
I
people
want
won't
to
get
know.
those resources, and therefore you
Ma'am.
should not vote for a Democrat who would
Ma'am.
allow foster children,
Ma'am.
veterans who lost limbs fighting for the country,
Ma'am.
veterans like you and this man
Right,
here,
right.
not get
We
those
agree.
resources. All
We
right,
agree.
all
Girl,
right.
relax.
So if Democrats
We
are
agree.
giving them
Girl,
out,
you don't relax.
then why
And
haven't
this
Democrats
shit-
given them
I'm
to
not
black
talking
people?
about no Democrats. I asked
Why
what was
haven't they given them to black
Is something
people?
wrong with her?
No,
No,
I'm
there's
asking.
something wrong with her.
Y'all see how she's trying to switch it to make
No,
it seem
I
like
just
something's
asked
wrong
you a
with me
simple
when all I'm
question.
trying to do is point
Girl,
out the
relax.
fact that black people
Relax.
are not being prioritized in the
Ma'am,
administration. Therefore,
relax.
when you ask about what
Relax.
Republicans are doing for us,
Relax.
what are Democrats doing
I
for y'all?
didn't ask you that.
Besides putting you last.
Nobody asked you that.
Thank you.
All right, Jay, go ahead and pause it for a second.
Y'all, please.
We got Jackson in the building. So what's up, Jackson? What's your thoughts on this show so far?
What's good, Big Op? Glad to be with y'all this evening. I just think it's a prime example of, hey, you could take the Negro out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the Negro. You know, I don't
Right.
care how much fame and success and you know, fortune and people may climb the ladder, but you know, it's just niggas and flies. I hope I can say that on YouTube, but it is what it is. Ridiculous. It's embarrassing to our people, to our culture. You know, it starts at the top. The leader put this hostile, negative energy out there, and it's just spiraled. It was like a domino effect, you know. So I just think it's a lack of, you know, you do things in decency and in order, and it's just a lack of no leadership. So anything just kind of going and it's done got, you know, because politics, there's 3 topics in life that can get real personal and serious and touchy, and that's politics, religion, and sexuality. So, you know, it's just they're touchy topics. And I just think that, you know, especially the females are real emotional and dramatic. So, you know, really emotional. So that's what I think it's a result of. And nobody's listening. Nobody's having that conversation. Nobody's, you know what I'm saying, just getting to solve a problem and understand each other's point of view.
Yeah, and I agree to that because the crazy thing is we like she talking about I'm a big dog and all this shit, and then she's like want to bring it back to order. But you didn't already started this chaos. Then you said it was okay. Now I said this a moment ago. I'm tired of when we have conservatives come up that are saying they're the better party, but then they start acting like this idiot that's the host. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, then I'm gonna go to Red. What's your thoughts on the fact that um we doing all of this right now? We got a good platform, a lot of people watching, but they can't sort out what's being said, and it seems to always be these people, and they think that when they put black people on it, whether they're conservative or not or Democrat, that this is the best way to get our voices heard.
Oh, but I think it's ridiculous, you know, because it's a lot of people got things to say, you know. Young Jock can't get a word in. It's a lot of people that, you know, got strong point of views and ideas and thoughts and stuff that they need to share. That's what the floor and the panel is for, you know. But it's just one of the things you just, hey, if you don't get up and leave, you just sit back and let them wild out.
Yeah, and I think this shit is sad. So Red, let me hear your audio. Let me see if you're good now.
I should be better. I think I got my other headphones on.
There you go. Yeah, I can hear you. All right. So what's your thoughts on the show? And you said you also wanted to speak to something I said earlier.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole thing so far, I mean, oof, I kind of understand where you guys are coming from a little better now because this is absolutely embarrassing. Especially if these are like this is your mainstream representation, kind of like the NABJ conference. Really not so good. But I think one solution, before I get into more critique, one solution to this would be we have the saying in battle rap called bars over names. And that means the content of what you bring to the table means more than your popularity. And I don't see that anymore in mainstream culture, including the black community. And I think that's one of the problems because all these people, oh, it's a big name. She's popular. She did this. She did that. But what is she actually bringing to the table? What is she presenting us with? Like I said, Detroit Baddies audition. That's what this sounded like.
Yeah, this shit is really fucking. This shit is fucking sickening, man. And that's my point. So if we're just 13-14% of the population, and most of the times, which is over half, at least 51%, when you say most of the time, you turn on TV, you turn on YouTube, everything. This is the same shit that we're seeing. And my thing is this: if the host was really trying to have an organized show where people can talk, and then people were acting erratic, belligerent, and all that, hey, you gotta leave. We'll take a commercial break, you gotta get the fuck on. But no, she's exalting the same shit. And that's what's really fucking it up. All right. So I mean, oh well, Ray, you got something else you can say?
Yeah, well, when it comes to the two black conservatives here, the angle they approach, although at times the dude got triggered at the beginning, but I think the woman has kind of held her own. However, when it comes to not even just conservative black people, but those who seek to talk to both sides, like Ice Cube, like I Swear Vezo, they immediately get hated on. They immediately get called this, that, and the third. And it drives independent people to become conservative.
True. I agree because when Cube did that year, And I think he was being fair and trying to be logical, because that's what I was trying to do. Matter of fact, that's the same year I was looking at, like, okay, let's see what Q got to say. Then I was thinking, like, all right, would it be this? Would it be that? I don't like certain things Trump say. Of course, Biden was had a little more decorum and all that, when he wasn't following.
Yeah, but he said way worse things. It's like they attacked Q. Like, how could you meet with Donald Trump? Did you hear what he said? It's like, did you hear what Joe Biden said? He said he didn't want his kids growing in a racial jungle.
Exactly. So that's my thing. So if we're gonna go off of that, I don't see how. And when I said decorum, I'm talking about at that state of time, not the old stuff that he said. But my thing is, this is to be looked at as a business. And if people were really smart, anybody that's voting as an American, we have other candidates that we can look at. The problem is, like we was talking the other night, Democrats and Republicans, that's what we put our money at the most. So that's what we see all the fucking time. We'll keep saying the lesser of the two evils. No, it's really bullshit. We're being
right.
lazy.
It is a business. Exactly. And if you're at a business that sucks, what do? You find a new employer. But you don't just go to the next job site and say, oh, I'm here. Let me work now. You have to negotiate with different employers.
Right. That's exactly what it is. So it's really on us as a people at the end of the day. But Jay, go ahead and hit play. I'm surprised you ain't bounced back. But go ahead and hit play. We're gonna play a little bit more, and then we're gonna just have a little commentary ourselves before we get out of here, because we the only ones that seem to can talk, and they on a big ass streaming platform right now. But go ahead, Jay.
Please go ahead and share your thoughts.
I didn't ask you any of that. Girl, relax.
I had to put it in there because I saw where you were trying to pitch it.
No, I wanted to ask you a simple question. You the one that was at Chick-fil-A, wasn't you?
No, yeah, it was
okay,
me.
yeah, I thought so.
What does that mean? Does that prove a point of some sort?
No, I just want to know. It's a simple question. Why y'all can't answer simple questions? What's wrong with it?
All right.
Let us finish. Girl, relax.
No, but people try to associate Chick-fil-A.
No, I asked because I wanted to make sure there was one because you was in that.
But I was also the girl who spoke at the rally. I'm also the girl who mobilizes the students every year. I'm also the one who provides internships and jobs to these kids. So stop acting like all I am is the girl that showed up at Chick-fil-A.
Do you want to do the receipt?
Is this Seinfeld?
How many people in this room have never elected? Okay, can you let him tell me that? Because if I ran in the truck at a gas station, I would have been just as excited. So trying to act like
you ride the truck, we get it. We get it.
I respect high offices, and therefore, yes, I would be honored to meet a president, regardless of who it is. Go ahead.
The people are literally asking you to stop so we can move on.
They didn't ask you to stop, but
it's my show. That's the problem.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I'm big dog.
I didn't see that happen at the debate, but okay.
All right, there's some things we can all align. No, respectfully, right? When I first got the opportunity to talk, I spoke on the concept of us, being passionate about what we believe in our beliefs. And the simplest assessment that I could come up with tonight, from being back in the green room watching y'all before I got out here, I realized we all get riled up for both of these parties, right? And the only time I seen everybody calm down and all that shit subside, where we could talk like adults and actually listen, is when we all realized ain't nobody really did shit for us when it comes to reparations. And that's when y'all all got quiet. When you start, when y'all start talking about these immigrants getting it all, they're getting reparations.
So
really, basically.
He don't believe in reparations.
But okay, even if he doesn't, I noticed the room, the air changed, the climate immediately, it got stiff for a second, like, oh, now everybody agree. Ain't neither side done any of that for any of us.
But he don't believe in reparations.
So I started to realize.
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that.
This is where the divisiveness comes in at that one moment when we all came to this point of realizing that ain't nobody got no reparations in this room. Nobody look like us. But it don't matter if he believe in it or not. I noticed that everybody in the room was like, oh shit. Everybody else did, but we ain't. So are we all getting played on either side of it?
But they never say, no, this is important, because this is why we keep me and this brother dance and do this all the time. We do this all the time. I don't have no problem saying Democrats say shit, Republicans say shit. My problem with a lot of, because I'm independent, but my problem with a lot of Republicans is they never acknowledge that Republicans also, that's not what he's saying. Okay. They're not saying that, oh, we don't get what we want from either party. They're saying, which is why I invited them here, to stomp down hard for Trump. They are saying that the Republican Party is better. They are saying that Trump is better. They are saying, this brother said, Democrats, I admit, Democrats don't do what they should do. It's usually on this side of the aisle where they actually say, we don't do both sides. On this side, you do not get acknowledgement on what Republicans don't do. You heard the brother proud to say, ain't nobody gonna get to be in the big house but Baby, that ain't no flex. That ain't no flex. Ain't nobody trying to be in the house. I'm in the field all day. So the point. So what I'm saying is that's not true. When we talk about reparations, it'll get just back turned up. So I know you want a peaceful, calm environment, but unfortunately, that's just not where we
at.
at.
About peaceful and calm, but I sat here and I watched when y'all started talking about the immigrants and people, no matter what side you're on, red or blue, everybody felt the same. It was the same context of like saying, all these people getting it, we still ain't got.
Yeah.
So then wait, but then and once that point got pushed off of this little table right here, off the little coffee table, it dissipated. Shit went right back up because it went back to going to opposing side.
I know, but Jack, what I'm trying to tell you is,
because I think there's some things
he believes that Republicans, they believe that Republicans is the way.
And it's safe to say that you're much further leaning left than I am. Absolutely. I think there's some things that he and I can agree to, and that's where we need to go in our community. We don't have to agree on all things, but we do need to start finding some alignment. And so here's where I would say, that brother just sat here and told me that his parents immigrated to this country and took no handouts. And my father immigrated to this country and did the same. And FAFSA didn't exist for my mother. They both went to HBCUs. They both worked 2 jobs. They both put themselves through school, and they both did a great job with me, my 2 sisters, bought homes, multiple homes, sold them, and built wealth. And it sounds like to me, your parents, who had the same work ethic, turned you into a relatively, I'm going to use the word successful or productive citizen in this country. Sure. And so, irregardless of whether I'm on the left or I'm in the right, we got to do a better job. What this brother was saying earlier, finding some alignment. Well, hold on. Finding some alignment, because if this young lady goes to the White House, or Ted, you the one, and you go into the White House, and the rest of us don't,
clear about that.
And the rest of us don't, what we need in our community is Black Americans that are going to represent the concerns of all Black Americans, not just those on the left or the right or independent.
The problem that we have every single time is you never talk about what the Republicans do wrong. And I'm going to keep pressing that all the time, because although he said, yes, his parents picked himself up by the bootstrap, he's also a Democrat that believes in a safety net to give the resources to those who were born in difficult situations. And we've had this conversation. No, but we've had this conversation, and we ain't going to sit up here and play no game because Young Jock got y'all feeling good about, oh, man, we all aligned. We all aligned that we're not getting what we're supposed to get. But, brother, each and every time you still don't say that Republicans do something wrong. That's all.
I'm gonna let my jump in.
I done got me up in this debate all night. Yeah, man.
That's the question.
Actually, a couple of things. One, I think it's a huge misnomer that all immigrants are Latinx, right? I think it's a lot of African people of African descent also make up a large part of the immigrant population, just like you just said, and just like he's already spoken to. So we are actually helping our own people when we help immigrants, right? Because if we're all people of African descent, don't we all agree?
Man, get the fuck out of here.
So we are helping our people when we help people of African descent that are coming from Belize, that are coming from Honduras, that are coming from Jamaica, that are coming from DR, that are coming from Haiti. Those are people of African descent. So those are our people that we're helping.
Yes.
I think they use that they say that it's Latinx people to kind of confuse the issue, but when you really look at the numbers, there's just as many people of African descent that are immigrating into this country.
From all over the world.
The thing I want to talk about though is
wait, hold on, brother. Wait, because he's really about to go in. So I want to show, just like for sake of Young Jock, because he really wants to be kumbaya. Y'all agree that y'all pulled up by the bootstraps. My parents wasn't no immigrants. So no, I'm just saying y'all agree. But this is where the disagreement comes into play. So it's cool, they agree, but baby, the disagreement comes into play when we start talking about the solution. And it is okay to have a disagreement in the solution. We don't have to just stay right here and say we just agree to agree. No, when we start talking about the solution, that's where you're gonna see these brothers got different opinions. He gonna say, oh hell no, we not helping no immigrants over Black Americans. And this brother gonna say, no, there still needs to be, if he's a true Democrat, a safety net for those who cannot. Democrat socialist to the highest level. So explain your position so Young Jock can see.
That's not socialism.
No, this is where the solution, the difference of opinion comes in the solution, and that is what politics is all about. So even though y'all agree that y'all pulled up by the bootstraps, what is your position when it comes to immigration and helping immigrants? Let's just put it on the table. We already know y'all disagree. I just want to hear his opinion.
Great. Yeah. So a couple of things. I think one, weaponizing local law enforcement to enforce immigration policy is wrong, right? Because we know that harkens back to the times where you had to check your freedom papers. The fact of the matter is that whether you're Black from Jamaica, or you're Black from Atlanta, or you Black from Mississippi, when that police officer pulls your ass over, they see a Black person. They don't care if you got an accent or not. And so we are stronger together than we are opposed to one another. So I have been on record not supporting the laws that the Republicans have been trying to pass here in the state of Georgia around making sure that local law enforcement can jail undocumented people in the city of Atlanta and across the state of Georgia. Because one, we want to talk about money. Do you know how much money it costs to run these detention centers? Do you know how much money it costs to enforce these immigration laws on people who oftentimes, the idea that people are coming to this country knowing their papers are not legit and they're going to come here and commit all these crimes is just ridiculous. Most immigrants are trying to what? Stay under the radar. If your parents are immigrants, what they say? Listen, we just work. We're not trying to cause no waves. We're not saying none of that because they already know they already are coming to an extra level of scrutiny just because they have that undocumented status by their name. And so I believe that we're throwing good money over good by spending so much money on enforcing these immigration laws instead of creating a pathway for people to have citizenship.
Right. So that's that's all I'm saying, Jack. It can be nice and quiet for just that 1-2 minutes.
Now,
once we start getting into the solution, that's where things
I'm gonna wait till I have the floor.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We talk about the resources and what it takes to run a penitentiary, right? Okay, that's absurd. Democrats said that $5 billion was too much to build a wall. And today we spent $450 billion on policies and programs and resources for migrants. And that pretty much sums it up. That pretty much sums it up.
You're talking about the
we
wall.
Can't complain about
You're talking
resources.
about the wall.
I don't hear anybody in our community challenging Clayton County right now relative to the budget as it relates to the prison.
Oh, me.
Nobody.
I went after him. I went after Victor Hill. I went after Victor Hill.
Can I have the floor?
Yeah, please.
I get it that liberal politicians are arguing the point.
But let's not say nobody. The brother just said it
the
did.
people of these communities. The people of these communities not arguing about what's invested in the prison, but liberals will argue
But the brother-
about the resources.
We can acknowledge it because you used the absolute. You said nobody. The brother said he did though.
They want to argue.
Yeah, okay.
They want to argue about the resources that are needed in all types of programs, prison, schools, et cetera, so forth and so on. But the people down on the ground, the people in Pittman Park, and the dudes off Techwood, they not complaining. They not talking about how the prison is funded. The reality is that money flows back into liberal politicians' pockets, et cetera, so forth and so on, and it never makes it into improvements in these facilities. It doesn't make it into these kids' pockets, et cetera, so forth and so on. And that's from somebody who grew up in a blue city as an institutional Democrat.
Let me. So
Relax, brother.
if you know,
Let him respond. Stop. Hold on. You made your position. Let him respond.
Let him respond. Stop clapping after you just interrupted him 5 times.
one, to know me, Michaela knows this because she sees me down at City
You're
Hall.
literally, this is my
She
first
sees-
time meeting you. Everybody
She
else.
sees me down at City Hall. She sees me down at Fulton County Commission, the largest county in the state of Georgia. They just tried to
Oh, he
propose
voted for
a
Stacey
$2
Abrams.
billion jail.
Regular.
And you know who came down there to speak about it? It was black folks, old black folks, young black folks who knew that if we were spending $2 billion on a new jail, that meant that they were going to defund senior services. That means that they were going to defund our hospitals. And guess what? This isn't a partisan issue because many of the people who proposed this were Democrats. They got D's by their name. And I had smoke for them too. Because if you're going to stand against black people, no matter what party you're affiliated with, you're going to have a problem with me.
So why did you say nobody?
The ones, the Democrats that are pushing
He just
for the
can't
construction
answer.
of a prison in this state are the same Democrats that benefit from the set-asides
But-
associated with the construction of that prison.
Sir, hold on, wait a minute.
The
I
reality
just want to
is
acknowledge
they want
his
to
brother's
push money
work.
into building prisons
Hold
because it
on.
makes money.
Stop talking loud. We got to acknowledge his brother work
Facts.
because you sat up here and said nobody said anything, and this brother just told you that he did.
No,
So
I'm
you
saying,
said
that,
nobody.
I'm saying that black folks went down
No, you
and
said
lobbied for
But who cares? He's trying to make a point about it. Why are you interrupting him on this tiny little point?
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that.
Like,
Hey,
damn, they
hey,
should have muted this like they muted the presidential.
Well,
Red. Well, she been interrupting the whole time, but you know, I mean, they're going back and forth at it on the situation. You know what I'm saying? And I think both brothers got a point to a degree.
yeah, I mean, but the sad thing is the host is doing that bias shit. So even though you may not agree with them because they're Republicans, all right, cool, that's fine. But let the man finish his point. You let the other brother finish his point. Let him finish his point. And that's the other shit that's annoying about this is, like you just said, Jackson, both of them were making good points. Then she was like, oh, well, hold on. You say ain't nobody. But the brother just said he did. Instead of letting him finish his point, then say, all right, well, but do you acknowledge that he's saying what he's saying? And maybe you didn't know that, but you got somebody right there that you could actually connect with. She's doing this divided separation. It's her.
Exactly.
Yep.
Red, go ahead. What you got on
there. No. That point right there. If we
What's
really
that?
pay attention to what's the point that you just said, if we really pay attention to what's going on right now, they were having a conversation across. One guy made a point, another guy made a point. They hashed out for a second, but then they started to fucking agree. And as soon as she saw that, she was like, "Oh hell no! Oh fuck no!
We can't have these two plantations communicating with each other. We got to keep them separated."
That's what she literally did. I was sitting back watching. I'm like,
Right.
lady, do you do? Like, I'll say it, bitch. Are you a spawn of Satan? Because
Well, no.
something's
Here's what
wrong
it
with her.
is. She's media trained. She's taught to do this.
No, I'm not real. If you want to be real about it, that lady ain't media trained for shit because she wouldn't act that way. That's just a black woman that got a job because she if people don't know, she used to campaign for Bernie Sanders, so she got her name out there. She got her name out there.
Who's another
And,
Democratic socialist?
I don't have an issue with Bernie Sanders. Bernie, here you go. I bet money you like Bernie Sanders than her. But look,
Oh yeah.
But besides the point though, that's how she got into the game of the politics shit. But she is the one that's causing all of this unrest right now, and we can see it. There was a point, even when Jock was like, "Look, man, y'all." I saw when the temperature came
Yeah,
down. when y'all-
Jock was kind of like leaving one of the plantations.
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that.
Hold on, Red. Hold on. Let Jay. Ain't gonna keep hitting you with that. Let Jay finish, and I got you next. I'm gonna go to you next, but let Jay finish, and I got you.
I'll just be done with it real quick. When young Jock said what he said, just to prove the point that she's the one that constantly keeps trying to keep this divide, even though she talked about working together and all this voodoo shit. When young Jock said, look, when it came down to the money going to the immigrants, everybody's temperature came down and was like, nah, the Republicans ain't doing nothing for me. Democrats ain't doing nothing for me. And she wanted to ruin it. Like, I don't care about that. No, what he got to say. She wanted to keep it going. She likes chaos. She said it. Chaos is good for her. Age of the chaos, I guess. But yeah, I'm quiet. Let me slide out real quick too.
That's
So
that's
like you're
what the
saying,
media
Red,
trains
with
you to
the-
be.
Yeah, with that ignorant shit. Like, no, I think I would have to agree with Jay. It's more so. It depends on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? They're allowing, like we said earlier, certain people to get in, get the mic, and say some dumbass fucking shit. But go ahead, speak on that. They was almost on some bipartisan shit, Republican, Democrat.
Yep.
They was saying they was agreeing. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's pretty obvious. I mean, and this is what, she's worked for a lot of mainstream news companies. And what they do is they just have, two 30-second debates where they try to provoke and make things as controversial as possible without discussing any solutions. Because unfortunately, that's what gets the most clicks. And Jay was right. What's his name? Young Jock. He was kind of wandering off one of the plantations there for a second, and she caught his ass and brought him back.
Red,
Yeah,
I know I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. I know, Miss Jackson, please get in here. Red, how the hell do you not know who Young Jock is and you are a rapper? I'm just sorry.
I've heard his name. I've heard his music. But I've never heard him in person.
Oh yeah, he a OG. But even the guy on the left, the Democrat, he was, willing to say, hey, he even said, I'm willing to come to some terms and and hear the other side, the other party out, and and he said, I even admit that the Democrats need to step their A game up. But immigration is an important topic because we need to understand why this is going on, why they're allowing these people to come through the borders, and what's the point and the purpose of it to benefit our nation. So, and definitely about the spiritual with the Bible and the Christian laws and Jesus Christ and so forth. All of them are really, they're touching on real important topics, But so even the guy on the Democrats, I think he had an open mind and he was willing to, kind of compromise and relate.
Yeah, and this is where we are seeing terrible things. And when it just comes to Americans all over trying to have conversation and separation and divide is not working for anybody. Ray, I'm gonna let you say something real quick, then we're gonna go back a little bit back to the video.
Yeah, she was doing it the whole time. I mean, brother first started saying, hey, I like accountability. And she's like, oh, you ain't getting none tonight. You ain't married. And the other girl was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't open your legs. And they went nuts.
Can I get one more point in? Can I get one more point in just real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Jay, and then you can go ahead and start the video back.
Yeah, and the dude in the black shirt that's leaning up right now, if y'all can see him on screen, he's very emotional. Like, there is a big talking point.
He did let them get to him.
Yeah, there's a big talking point on social media that like guys on the left are like they're not really alpha males, they're kind of beta for being on the left. This guy's very emotional too. So I'm like, we got to be real about it. Like, it's not even which party you go with. Y'all think, like, I don't know why people are starting to try to say your party affiliation determines whether you're, when it comes to men, alpha or beta
does.
or masculine. What's up with this guy?
There's-
Is he the exception?
Yeah, because there's psychological research that shows different traits.
Oh, if that's the case, then I'm cool with it. I just know a lot of the mass shooters happen to be Republican.
No, but I agree. Dude is emotional.
They play.
Bro,
prison,
see, this
and
is
I'm
where
saying
the
nobody
problem
protect
is.
Will.
It's never no accountability.
None of the people in those communities are asking.
You said nobody.
Lobbied
Brother.
against,
Black politicians
lobbied
in the
against
Democrat
it.
Party
Lobbied
that got
against
construction
Brother.
companies and so forth.
Lobbied
are
Brother,
set aside
I think you acknowledge what this brother
Black
does.
in the construction industry.
Brother, you ain't the only one doing the work.
It's about running that money right back through the circle.
Let him, I just want to know why the brother can't acknowledge your work.
Listen,
Why he can't acknowledge your work, though?
listen. The problem
That's
is
weird, brother.
The problem is because I understand that we sometimes speak in absolute and hyperbole, right? I know that was an SAT word I dropped down. It's cool. But sometimes we gotta speak, we just gotta speak to the facts and we gotta speak to the rock.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is that our mayor, our city council, our county commission, who are Democrats and Republicans, push to expand the prison industrial complex in the city of Atlanta. That was bipartisan support, right?
Fair.
In Georgia, who has been mostly under Republican leadership, and even when it was Democrats, they were Dixiecrats, so they were Republicans for all intents and purposes. They have governed a budget where we spend $8.1 billion on police, prisons, and jails. We don't spend that on public education. We don't spend that on hospitals. We don't spend that on money and direct assistance to Black communities. We don't.
Okay.
And it's a Republican issue too.
Right.
And so, to your point, Tess, this is sometimes my frustration with Trumpers, with Republicans, with conservatives, because I can call out the folks on the left.
That's right.
In fact, I spend more time fighting people on the left than I do on the right because they're trying to out-Republican y'all.
That's right.
But the problem that I have with conservatives is that, particularly Black conservatives, is we can see as plain as day, Republicans will push an agenda that is not for Black people, and y'all will say, y'all will come up with every rhyme, reason, excuse, tap dance, this, that, and the third. Come on.
But
sometimes we gotta call a thing a
The
thing.
current vice president said that she would not support a policy that was directed toward Black Americans, but she gave $25 to $50 million to Asian Americans.
Okay.
Come on.
We talk.
Come on.
Yes.
Am I one of them Black Republicans?
You are not one of those
Thank
Black
you.
people.
You are not.
Which is why we go to lunch together. Which is why we go to lunch together.
So Young Jock, so to make Young Jock happy, we got two people where they agree. All we saying is, because Young Jock just want y'all to be happy. We got to move to the immunity. We got to move on. All I'm saying is, we want to see that, or at least me, more in the public space. You know,
I do it, but I mean, I'm not as public.
Sometimes you have less than a
Like, I'm not a
second to
No,
make
we're talking about right
a
now.
life and
Yeah, I'm
death
not.
I mean, I haven't.
decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
They're going to be indemnified. We're going to pay them for their costs, for their lawyers. You know, policemen have to go, in many cases, hire a lawyer to protect themselves. The state doesn't want to get involved. These people are crazy. When they're standing there in front of a department store that's being looted by 400, mostly kids, but other people too, and they want to do something so badly, but they're told not to because there's liability. They're not going to have any more liability. They're going to do their job. They're going to stop it.
Oh, wait for your hot seat water. Yeah. I swear to God, you drink your face. Drop the pot and drop the pot. What did I do? You're up there. Nobody, my girlfriend's dead. Tell him we have 1, 10, 15. What is I don't know. Yeah, somebody when I was banging at the door, she said, "Who is it?" And the other started shooting. No.
I told you, man. I can't breathe.
Take a seat.
Please, man. Please,
Do you want to deal? He's under arrest right now for forgery. What's going on?
All right, immunity. We've had this conversation before. I know the Republican talking point is they already got immunity, but Donald Trump has said that he believes in federal immunity. Want to get the thoughts on it? Let's go with Jock first because we don't have y'all take over and then Jock sit up in front. So let him be the cooler head.
Man, look,
on immunity.
So you know me, like I'm a good guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting a lot of trouble with all for real. And I've seen police handle me so crazy sometimes, man. And it's just like they got to be held accountable. Just immunity because you've gone through an academy, you made a pledge, you know what I'm saying, an oath to the community to be a protector and a servant of the community. That's great. I do applaud good policing. I applaud it. Now, I'm gonna keep it 100. Some people are just, some people need governing. Period, point blank. A lot of us do. Let's just be for real. So when you get a good police officer, it's one thing. But when you like myself, I've been in a situation where I've been snatched out the car, thrown right into these two right here. This right here. These two. This come from handcuffs. They were looking for my brother. I had nothing to do with nothing going on. I still got thrown into the bushes. I got beat up. They tried to put a murder charge on me, right? Then they found out they had the wrong person. I still got charged with criminal disorderly conduct, which is a criminal charge. So I can't even go and get my firearm, my carry concealed permit because at that point, I can't now, but at that point, because it was a criminal charge. But I'm like, hey, so what's gonna happen? Y'all just beat me up and did all this to me. I still didn't get the charge taken away. I think sometimes, man, you gotta understand, when we start talking about immunity, Stephen A. He was just talking about with Tyreek Hill. And he said, well, all you had to do was roll the window. He told you don't roll the window down. No, he told you don't roll the window, just leave the window down. Well, you're looking at it on that end, but when you getting pulled over and the level of aggression is already here before, because they ain't treating you like they treating Tom.
No.
Hi, hey, great. Just want to let you know you're speeding. I was like, you get your license. Now, I ain't think they like walking up their hand on the gun off real. I just told a story today. Tell me I'm lying. I told the doctor, I told the police officer, hey man, listen, y'all got the wrong car that just sped past you. I said, I'm having twins right now. He said, you having twins right now? I said, yeah, I got to get there. He said, hold on. He called back up. Back up, Cam. I'm like, why y'all call back up? Snatched me out of the car. Boom, threw me handcuffs. I said, hey, why you doing that? You know what he said? Because I'm trying to save your life. Because I know that you have a real serious situation right now. I don't want you to do anything that goes against what we're telling you because you feel in your mind, you got to get to this hospital to see your twins be born and something happened, I kill you right on the side of the expressway. And I looked at him like, damn, I ain't never see it like that. But you know what I'm saying? Because it put me in a position where I was like, hey man, but I wasn't finna do nothing to get killed or I'm going to jail. Y'all tell me I'm going to jail. Tell me I was going to jail.
So the other officer didn't anything ever happen to him? Were they ever,
no, and that police officer, he apologized. He said, man, I'm sorry. He didn't have to slam you on the ground like that. I dusted you off a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
So I want to see if you're
Somebody gotta be
gonna stand.
accountable.
So I want to see if you're gonna stand on business because I know your position with this. So let's run back what you said last time as far as
I'm pro. Look, you pro what? The police departments across America, the vast majority of the stops that happen on a day-to-day basis are correct. They are just, and the vast majority of police officers across America are doing a great job in our communities and in others. That's it. These incidents that you see, like the one we just saw that they just had on the screen, are an issue. Okay, they are an issue, but they are exceptions, not the rule. And so what we need, in my opinion, as a young Black Republican, and I disagree with a lot of other Republicans on this topic, is we need a right-sized approach to deal with these exceptions and to hold those folks accountable.
do you say
That's my opinion.
So what I asked you earlier about disproportion, you know, like you give the disproportionate facts on abortion.
Yeah, I went crazy.
Would you say that disproportionately the exceptions that you're talking about, do they disproportionately affect Black men?
I would say that Black men are pulled over more disproportionately stereotyped and pulled over than any other group of folks in America. Yes, I would. We're not running from the truth.
No. But earlier you wouldn't. When I asked you that, remember we talked about that for like over an hour. You didn't want to.
I had to relate it to the other topic. I would agree with you in this topic.
Alright, so she still was kind of digging at Young Jock, and then Republicans go to talking, then she wanna go back to doing that. So I guess we're gonna have more conversation right now. Jackson, you shared a couple candid stories with us about the bullshit that you went through. That was crazy, you know, and I shared one story with you as well. So what's your thoughts on that? Because I know we do have a lot of conservatives that will overlook that. We have the Democrats that will act like they're aligned with what needs to be done, but we'll still see a lot of them to support the bullshit that the police do. So what's your thoughts on one part that, you know, they were trying to have a good conversation and then she came in with the bullshit again, but also from your experience, the way you want to deal with, you know, how the police should be held accountable and do they really need more immunity?
Okay, so what I do like about the Democrat side is they are addressing the fact that you know, they putting all this money and investing in building prisons and working on governing police brutality. So they point out that that's an issue, that's a problem, especially the young brother in the next to Young Jock, you know, and they're addressing that is an issue, you know. So what I'm hearing from the other guy on the Republican side is justifying, you know, a little justification going on to the behavior, you know, where there's exceptions to the rules, you know, and little ends and odds, instead of, you know, saying, hey, what can this immunity do to make a drastic and speedy change in lives. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people getting killed by the day over nothing, innocent people, you know what I'm saying, being targeted by the authorities, the ones who're supposed to protect and serve. So the Democrat Party is addressing the issue and recognizing it is a problem, you know, that we putting our time and money into the wrong thing, building prisons instead of starting at the top, and that's governing the police authority.
But also, like, it's a good thing they're addressing it. But do you also see how things can happen even when Democrats are running things? Like, you know, that they address it, but a lot of times they don't do nothing.
Well, I think that's from both sides. A lot of them hypocrites. You know what I mean? You know, I can see that on both ends. You know, say one thing, do another. But yeah, you know, but well, he did go ahead and put it out there that young brother besides Young Jock, that, you know, they was pretty much spending the money and, like I said, investing in building prisons, $1 billion prison, just like in the state of Georgia, for example, that he used, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, at least he put that out there. You see what I'm saying?
So last question, I'm gonna go to Red. So do you think that means it's on us as a community that we hold either side responsible? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna just keep it real. The defund the police situation didn't make really no sense. I understand why it was said, but it didn't happen. Not only that, JVJ brought up a good thing. Like, when money comes out, when the police force gets sued, it's coming from the taxpayers' money. It's not coming from the police pension fund or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So do you think that we need to really hold them accountable, whoever's running whatever? Like, no, this is not right, and if you don't do something about it, our vote is going to go somewhere else next election.
Hell yeah. You know, why the hell should hard-working American citizens pay for, you know, somebody else's mistakes? That need to come directly from the police force, you know? So, yeah, they from taxpayers paying for it, that's ridiculous. So, hell yeah, something needs to be done about it ASAP.
For real, I agree with you. So, Red, I got a question for you. Do you think that there's something we can do better when it comes to police reform, whether it's better training, whether it's actually, you know, looking into investigating what's being done when they do fuck up?
Obviously, and it's a very nuanced, complex problem, the system of governance, which ultimately ends up in the enforcement of violent measures. That's what all civilization is based off of. You know, you follow the rules, because if you don't follow the rules long enough, somebody with a gun is gonna stop that. And Young Jock was going on he was kind of cooking. I might have to go re-listen to his stuff because of that. But he was bringing up a lot of the nuanced points that I'm sure he understands. And again, this woman had to stop him from wandering off. But she and her ilk, they make claims about, oh, well, Republicans said this, Republicans said that. Well, when I talk to actual people, no matter who they are, and they call themselves conservatives or liberals, when I say, hey, the private prison system should be abolished, we shouldn't be making money off of people going to prison, everyone agrees. Nobody disagrees with ending a private prison system. And those sorts of unions, those sorts of branches that can be formed between us, make us stronger. But you got harlots like this bitch who just want to prevent any of that from happening.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because somebody educated me on that some years back, maybe 10 years ago or so, and they was sharing with me the statements that was put out by these private systems and what they had with going public, going IP, that this is the amount of money that's going to be made, and this is actually how many people are supposed to be in the prison because they lose money, and there are people that buy into the stocks and shares are pissed off about that shit. So you brought up a good point about that. So where do you think is an issue why they're able to thrive like they do?
Because it's a privatized institution. It should be totally nationalized. or subsidized. That way, individual populations would have a responsibility because, like Young Jock said, some people need governance. Some people just need enforcement of the law. It's the only language they understand. Some people are just wild. So that needs to be there. But at the same time, I mean, who's investing in the private prison complex? It's all the big media outlets. It's all the record companies, Sony, Universal, Time Warner. And look at the filth and the degeneracy and the crime that they're promoting and their messaging. It makes them money both ways. So if you get the money out, you nationalize it, a lot of the problem will start to evaporate.
Yeah, and see, that's the difficult. Motherfuckers want to get that bag. But we're gonna play maybe a few more minutes, and then we'll close out with our statements or whatever. Because I'm surprised we even made it through this motherfucker. I'm still a little buzzed. I ain't even get another drink yet. But go ahead, Jay, play a little bit more.
Because again, in the spirit of being bipartisan, it is not a Democrat or Republican issue. Because the Democrats
They say
have
it is,
supported,
though.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Because I see every day how Democratic officials empower the police, make excuses for the police, don't prosecute the police.
Both sides.
Right? On both sides.
Both sides.
That's bipartisan. So like, I don't want to make this a Republican or Democrat issue because it is an American problem. It is America's problem. It is for both political parties. Because right now, folks has smoked with Fani Willis for a variety of reasons, right? Around this Trump case. That actually wasn't my issue.
But can
my issue with DA Willis was all of the police officers who we know have killed people, like Deacon Holloman, a 62-year-old.
But before we move, hold on. But before we move to goalposts, I want to know. Okay, but before we move to goalposts, I still want to know the answer to my question about Trump and saying that he would grant immunity to all police officers. What's your position on that?
I think that immunity granted to all police officers, it impacts relative to protecting police and allowing them to do their jobs. I think that serves 98 or 99%.
So should it be immunity for all federal police officers? Yes or no?
With it until we have a right-sized approach to dealing with
So
it.
the answer is yes.
But we need to deal with the exceptions in our community.
We got it, but the answer is yes.
We left out the
support-
part of the
you
interview though
support-
where he also said there would be an ethics
No,
board,
I
so
want to
it's
get
not
I want to get a
automatic.
clear answer. I want to get a clear answer before you start talking.
The question is yes.
Yes, you support. That's all I wanted to get to know. Yeah.
But I also said, don't get hung up on listen to everything I said. Okay. What I said was we need to find a right-sized approach for the exceptions. The vast majority of police officers need to be able to do their job free of red tape and other types of shenanigans that would distract from this conversation today.
Well,
It's taking place in places like California.
What's an exception?
So the police
we just saw
Can I say something real quick? Please.
Go ahead, co-host.
I'm not the co-host. I'm just the guy that.
Hey, when we up here, we co-host. Go ahead, sir.
I'm just the guy that's rudely interrupting right now. This is one thing I can't stand about whether he know it, he will be labeled in his own community as a house nigga. Because what just came out of his mouth, you literally believe that 98%, I can easily disprove 98% of cops are good cops. You know why? Because it takes so goddamn long to get body cams. It takes so goddamn long to get any police officer that saw this guy do some fucked up shit to say something about it. And then when we see good cops stand up and actually say something about what these fucked up cops do, they the ones who end up fired. It's not 98% are good. No. I'll say some of them are impartial. They kind of in the middle. They independent. I ain't good nor bad. But I ain't.
So you think 98% are bad?
No, I'm saying 98% are not good. That's crazy to say. Think about how often things happen. Like they keep trying to act like
But think about how often police interact with people on a daily basis.
Exactly, and that's one point I wanted to get to. Red, you gave me another question, so I'm going a little bit longer. He said the exceptions that we see. The exceptions that we see where people are either brutalized or something was illegally done to them. Most American citizens don't even know their rights. You know how you know that? Because the cops don't even know the damn laws they're supposed to enforce.
Exactly.
We have people that don't know they were even done wrong, that don't even report it. That don't even say shit. And I've said shit about it. I know I've said shit about it. I know Miss Jackson had situations. And I'm damn sure, be honest, Red, I bet you done had situations where if you thought back, the police did some fucked up shit yesterday.
Yesterday.
But you know your rights now. I'm talking about when you didn't know your rights.
No, I always knew my rights since like 14.
All right, hey, look, thumbs up for you. But there are so many incidents that happen with all these so-called police interactions that they're violating people on the regular. And nothing ever happens. Nobody ever hears about it. Then we talk about the situations where the news actually catches it, but the news don't catch all this shit.
Yeah.
But do you know what else the news doesn't catch? You know what else the news doesn't catch?
All the
When
good stuff.
Yeah, and I think that should be publicized because, like, you could edit a clip together, like that clip we just saw. It was an edit.
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that.
Sorry, I thought I was talking.
I was still talking, but it wasn't. Look, I ain't the one who pushed that.
No, you want to land the plane?
Yeah, I did want to land it, but like even to your point that you're making, like right there, yes, the good shit should be publicized. No, and you actually were talking. The good ones, I understand the concept that the good ones should be shown, but you would show the good ones to convince the mental mindset of the public. The public's mindset already is defend cops no matter what. So showing the good shit doesn't mean nothing. They're already
I would like to say real quick. I was just gonna make a point real quick. How can he sit back and say that 98% when, man, the facts are right there in your face? You know, it's so close you can't even see it. It's right there in your face.
Okay, but like all of these instances that you can record, what percentage of that is of the entire national police force?
But there's a lot that's not recorded of police
But
beating
that's not. I mean, we can.
well.
But there's no evidence. for that. You can say you can say there's unreported cases, and I'm sure there are, but that's not an argument. That doesn't disprove the fact there's still 98% good cops.
All right, well, he gonna check this. We're red. I'll do this because I want to be fair and not like I try to be equal about it. Okay, not gonna even take into account the unreported stuff. Throw it off the table. We're not even going to take into account the people that get deleted because that's the only thing they really show the most, the deleted ones. What about all the other shit where people's rights are violated? Because that's actually what makes up the majority of it. The exceptions are people getting deleted by the cops. People rights
how much of that is because of bad cops, or I should say not good cops?
Yeah. No, that's it.
Wait, hold on. What about the shitty ass local politicians that write these bullshit laws?
That's the thing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a cop that actually is abiding by the law. I'm talking about all the ones where they actually are breaking the law. They're violating citizens' constitutional rights. I'm talking about those because that's what actually makes up the majority of these interactions.
But if you look and listen, if you look into the police codes and the police policies of a lot of local counties, you'll find that they often violate constitutional rights. So but that you can't really necessarily pin that on the cops then, because the local city officials are the ones writing these police policies.
I get that, Red, but still, at the end of the day, who's enforcing the laws?
They're doing their job. I'm sorry.
Well, their job is to make a arrest. You know what I'm saying? They have to meet that quote. So they have to execute on that, find a reason, create a reason, whatever they got to do to make those arrests. You know what I'm saying?
So that's where you reform.
But that's where
I'd agree maybe 50%. I'd say maybe 50% good.
Yeah, well, let me jump in here real quick. Since you said that, Red. So the reason why we're gonna say 98% of them are good is inaccurate. I ask you this, Red. How many times have you moved around and seen police parking in places that us as citizens can't park? How many times you have seen police actually speeding, going through lights, doing certain things that we know we can't as citizens do?
Of course. I've seen a lot of it. I don't think, but I've also seen a lot of cops not doing that. I see cop cars going by every day that are not doing that. So, like, I mean, we can't necessarily create a percentage based on this.
No, I'm not. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that makes them evil. I'm not saying that means that we should go against them for this simple shit. The only reason why I'm asking the reason why I'm asking that question is because when we look at the oath that they took, the law that they're supposed to uphold, majority of the
The
time, let's keep it
Constitution.
real, we see police officers acting above the law, especially when we go to see the videos. We go to see how they talk to us. Not only that, they tell us to not be with the no snitching, we need to report things, right? But at the end of the day, how often do we find out about police not saying nothing? How often do we actually say, if you can go look at every police station in this country, there has been multiple reports of things going on and the police do not hold each other accountable.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That
it's a
is the
closed
issue.
society.
That is
If you
the
ever talk to
hold
police
on, I'm about
officers,
to
it's like
land.
a college
Hold on,
frat.
wait, hold on. I'm gonna land and I'm gonna let you finish. But real quick, the reason why Jay said that issue, Ms. Jackson said that issue is because they took an oath. We're just citizens.
Yeah, and that oath, I mean, if you want to get into it, like I would say, the majority of cops in the United States are violating that oath. I agree 100%. However, they are following their own precinct's policies, which is the person that pays them at the end of the day. They don't get paid by the Constitution. They get paid by their precinct, which gets funded and allocated by their local city officials. And in these cases, and I agree, I see it all the time, cops acting above the law because you give them a badge, you give them that power. You're going to have people that abuse the power. The problem becomes when you want to, create all these farcical rallies that don't do anything but divide people, and you don't want to actually have a discussion about, okay, how do we reform this? What kinds of systems can we implement within policing, hiring police, training police? What can we actually do? And I don't really hear those arguments, but I'd love to have them.
But I think you're on the right track, Red, and I think we actually agree in the grand scheme of things. Look, yes, ultimately it's gonna be the politicians who allow these policies and whatever to stand, so these people can go out and do whatever they want. And the sad part, a lot of them violate their policies on the regular, anyways. Like the policy don't even matter; they'll still cover each other. But that I want you to understand, like where we're coming from as Black folks when we speak about this. It's like, okay, Pablo Escobar ordered a hit on me. You telling me I shouldn't be focused on the man that's trying to run the hit on me, just the person that ordered it? Because somebody's still coming to get me, though. I'm gonna have an issue with the person that's coming to get me and the people at the top. But the people at the top is the whole part of this
Right.
conversation, even right
But
now.
but think about it. Think about it from a power perspective, a power politic perspective, if you will. If Pablo Escobar wants you taken out, it doesn't matter how many assassins you can delete. He's going to keep sending more.
Hey, okay, I got you. Well, I'm gonna hit you with one that might help you out even worse. Then there's no point of me even being on the internet, especially covering the conversation of women need to keep their legs closed, because we can just say, well, the men are the ones ultimately coming in and shooting it up. Would that sound right?
Well, no, because most of your audience is men anyway.
No, I'm just saying, period. Like in general, like, yes, I can understand that. Yes, this motherfucker is allowing this situation to happen. The politician, the woman. But you're saying like
No, they're not the woman in this situation. They are actually the men. They are creating the situation. They are the child that they are bringing. The sperm, if you will. Their sperm is these bills and these allocations of funds and these policies that they write for the police precincts. A police department doesn't just spawn out of existence and make up their own rules. It's all created by the local city officials.
Well, here, I'll make sure, because I think this might be the disconnect. I'm not saying don't hold the politicians accountable, because that, like, literally, you know what I come from. Hold all these bitches accountable, Republican or Democrat. Doesn't fucking matter who party you're in. They the ones who need to fix it. And I don't just talk about presidents and all that shit all the time. Hold all the politicians accountable. But I'm also saying hold these motherfuckers out here that's violating American citizens' rights on the regular accountable too.
Sure, but you could, if you go too extreme with that, not only are you're not going to stop that, cops are still going to violate people's rights, and a lot of cops are going to be afraid to actually do their job. So you get the worst of both worlds.
Well, here, go check this. We already have the dark side that you said, where people are just going to violate people's rights. They're already doing it. So we're just gonna, if in your situation, we'll just continue to keep doing that. Having people afraid to do their job. I've seen videos.
Well, because what's the solution? Just punish the police? Just punish the foot soldiers?
Wait, hold on. Let me jump in here real quick. Y'all have a great back and forth, but this is the thing real quick, Red. What Jay is saying, and me and Ms. Jackson agree to this. If we already have these issues going, then you got the brother right there with all black on is saying, yeah, they need immunity. They already got too much. Because if they didn't, then we wouldn't, or you wouldn't say what you're saying, and we all agree. We do need more, you know what I'm saying, better training, reforming, things of that nature. That's why we're having that discussion. It's because they need it. You know what I'm saying? They fucking up too much. And then you get like them saying all this crazy shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's mostly coming from the Republicans is they need more immunity so they're not scared to do their job. Overall, police are not scared to do their job. Overall, police are doing their job. Because if you said there are 98% of them are good and just doing their job, then they're already doing their job. The problem is the bad apples, and then what makes so many minorities look at them skeptical is because the ones that are supposed to be decent when they're there, they back them up on some bullshit. That's just like what you and Jay had seen that video where they already had the suspect in handcuffs in the back of the police car. Acorn hit the top of the damn car. The one officer started busting off. The lady officer joined in. She didn't say, what the fuck are you doing?
Officers, that's what I dealt with yesterday. And a couple months back when I got detained, I was like, God, please don't let an acorn fall. And all the cops started laughing. But I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So I think we already having that conversation, and that's the medium we need to meet on. You know what I'm saying? So great discussion. Ms. Jackson, you got anything to say before I let the video play for a couple more minutes?
I'm gonna say I've had a lot of police encounters in my life, and I can count. Maybe I've met about three good ones. Three good ones. I can say, you know, just really care about the people and community and with a righteous character. About three that I can count, you know, out the percentage out of pretty much my lifetime. But you know, I did have a quick question for Red too. You know, so like I'm just gonna use some real minor example, like traffic laws. Okay, so they have the under the department and their company they work for, they have the policy to do things in case of the emergency or a call. But just like if they just, you know, riding around or patrolling, but y'all, you know, they don't abide by the traffic laws, you know, hit they blue lights, run the red lights, run the stop signs, do whatever they want to do for GP. You know, you don't consider that hypocritical. They supposed to do that in a certain time, like I said, when they're called on their duty or emergency calls or whatnot. But just to do it because they can, because they got that badge. But if we do it, we're getting tickets or getting locked up all day. You don't see just in that little small minor imbalance, hypocrisy.
Of course, I see the hypocrisy. But an argument from hypocrisy is a fallacious argument, which means it doesn't prove your point, your positive position. But the way and to speak about all of this, like, oh, well, the cops that I met, I've met less good cops than you. I only met 2. But I do see, in my personal experience, a lot of cops who are afraid to do their jobs. We had protests in Dearborn, Michigan, and people got really violent. People did some really bad things to local shops and stuff. And the cops literally just stood there because they're like, I mean, I'm not beating up a Muslim. You know what's going to happen to me on mainstream TV? Hell no.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think that's most likely a minority, Red. I'm not gonna lie to you. From what I've been seeing, return reports, and we can talk about this in a little bit. A lot of times it's the minority of those cops who are very concerned, and I give them some grace because they're not trying to be looked at as racist. They're not trying to be looked at as biased, gender bias, and all of that stuff. So I do give them some kind of grace. I think the main thing is what we need, and I'm gonna go to Lena real quick before we go back to the video. But I think what we need more of, so that way people like us can be more understanding, give more grace to police. If we have more police standing up for what's right, because we have plenty of videos and former officers and some that are officers right now that are speaking up and saying what's right. And I think we need to and just to be fair, maybe I'll do a couple of videos on that, Red, to show the police officers that are speaking up. But real quick, Lena, what's your thoughts on the video so far? Because we're gonna play a little bit more, but I'm gonna come back to you again.
Hello, hey, I've been watching a little bit, so I don't know a full thing, but I was just talking about the cops. I feel like the cops are like, I don't think they train properly or correctly. I like this one. I'll give you an example like this one.
Check your tone, girl. Keep your inside voice on. So put your ass outside.
Hello, I'm sorry. It's one of those like one of the police academies that got busted for they were using all the target practices. They were black, for the people and stuff, the criminals, they was all black that they was practicing on. And I was like, that's subliminally teaching them that they suspects are gonna be black. So I believe a lot of their stuff, they're not fully equipped or given the right education in order to perform their jobs correctly.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. Reform is something that's very important. And going back to something Red just said a moment ago, I totally agree that we do need to have more conversations. Just like I said, to defund the police. At first, I was like, yeah, maybe we need to. But then I started hearing more people say, no, we need to put that in context of what we're talking about. We can't just blindly do that. You know what I'm saying? Reform needs to be, the message. So we're just going to let a moment play. People were having good conversation, then they just start going off the rail again. Ms. Jackson, can you go ahead and mute for me, because you got a lot of feedback right now.
All right.
So but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and play a little bit more. Then Lena, I got a question I'm gonna ask you. So Jay, go ahead and play the video.
They shot in her house. In the house, right? We got to do something about that. Make an exception for that? Can we agree that there needs to be something that deals with that? I'm saying but what I'm saying is, but that is a very small, but minute, less than 1%.
Speaking of
on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, now you're speaking of the minute percentage, right?
Yeah, man.
What about the stories that we don't see, that we haven't seen, that have been nobody ever talked about it? But people in the city realize nobody want to talk about it, so they feel like they defeated. They can't win.
It's part of the reason why I wasn't a supporter of the Obama 21st Policing Act, because why? Body cameras so we can just see black folks getting killed on camera in HD. They don't stop anybody from getting killed.
I disagree.
Well, I think that would
have what actually stops people from being killed is a complete transformation of how we do public safety.
But we
need more of us who's not body officers.
But we need body cameras.
I didn't say that's the solution, but that's a part of. We got to have body cameras. But we got, because that's the only way we're gonna see what needs to be said.
My challenge with that, Tez, is that we have allowed black politicians and white to pacify us and say, "Oh, okay, well, we got you body cameras." That
we still got more work to do.
And more black people have been killed. More black people have been killed by the police.
But brother, we still got more work to do. But we absolutely need the body cam. I just want to be clear about that. We got more work to do. We got more work to do. We need the right side approach. I just want to know, yes or no, do you support President Trump saying immunity for all police officers? It's just a simple yes or no. We can get to the solution on what it should be. Let's just talk about what it is. Do you support?
I want to point out that we cut the clip short because it's not just automatic federal immunity for all officers in which all these officers can run and cause chaos in our streets. There will still be a board that they have to answer to. There will still be cases like Sonia Massey, which they talked about at that conference as well, in which he said those policemen were not doing their job and those policemen would not be eligible for federal immunity. So like what you said, we need to keep the body cameras, because when we're talking about does this officer deserve immunity for whatever complaint has been risen against him, we can check the camera for that. And then once we've checked this footage, now we can take it to this board.
But do you agree they should get immunity, yes or no? I just want to know that.
And the way that it was presented, in the way I'm talking about federal immunity in the way that it's presented with the board, not automatic, just let cops do whatever they want, which is what the narrative is. The actual policy is federal immunity, but there will be a process. Like with everything. I just wanted that. I can deal with that. Yeah. And wait, because John asked about what was an example. You think about, you see children walking around with black eyes and bloody clothes, and cops can't do anything about it because nobody said anything, or the child has not admitted that anything has happened to them. And that point, if that cop decides to break the law to save the life of a child, I am with that. And yes, they can be immune for whatever kidnapping charge the parent parent tries to rise against them for taking the child because you were not taking care of said child. And again, I've seen how horrible some parents are to their children.
That also should go before a board too. A police officer at that particular time is not judge, jury, and executor.
I will say
that's the
this,
problem.
though,
And
just
so
quickly-
let's be clear about that. Let's be clear about that.
Yes.
It's not up to because the same way we're saying that it should go before a board and decide immunity, not immunity. Also, in the case of child abuse as well, I was a guardian ad litem in Florida for a very long time. It's not up to the police officer to be judge, jury, and executor. So when you say, "Oh, I believe you can do whatever because you hurt that child," and you should be no, we don't know.
No, he should be able to take the child.
Yeah,
That
no,
child should not
because
take
that's
the child.
judge, jury, and executor,
The
and that's
vast
the
majority-
problem.
has a
the
black
vast
eye and
majority-
blood coming out the bottom of
But I
the
just
back.
wanna-
And if a black man gets dragged out of the car and gets shot
The
because he didn't
vast-
let the window
I
down
wanna
fast enough,
clarify-
you say that should go before a board. So
I
let's go
wanna
that before a board.
clarify
It's gonna go before a board.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, if a black man kills anybody, he's gonna have to go before a jury as
I
well.
would-
So
I
I'm
would
not
like to
understanding.
clarify-
We want to make
You
one
kill
comment.
anybody, you
Either
have
we're
to
going
stand in
before the
front of
board or
these
we're
people.
not.
I want to
People have
clarify
Either we're going
something.
before the board or we give us
One-
or we're not.
one,
I don't want no police
this-
being judge, jury, and
this
executor. That's why we got
policy
the courts.
This policy that Trump is talking about, one, only extends to federal officers. Vast majority of police brutality cases take place with state and local police. So
Thank you.
if you want to see safer streets where you are not concerned about having the type of run-in with the police that many black people can talk about, it's a state and local issue, right? The
Okay.
president
Hold on, brother.
can't-
Wait a minute. Hold up. We know that, but let's hold on.
No, everybody does not know
I know that, but no.
You know that.
No, but we got to be clear though. When you're talking about something from the federal level, that can also trickle down to the state and the local.
Sure.
So
state-
let's not because
but
when the
state-
sisters over here, thank you. No. Anytime, no. When you have somebody saying, "Let's get full immunity, let's be rougher with them, rough them up," that's a problem. Now you don't have to
I'm
be
clear
this problem.
on
You
that.
say you don't want body cam. I ain't never heard no progressive say
No,
that.
I said,
So-
well, also, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Also, what I said was body cameras are not enough.
Right.
If you're not going
Say
to
we don't need
prosecute the people,
Yeah, no.
if you're not going
You
to
didn't say
prosecute
that.
the people when we see someone black being killed
Right.
on film, what the fuck is the point of the
Right,
body
but
camera?
we still need it though. No, I want the same page, but the way you presented it the first time.
Well,
was
that's
saying
why
it
I
don't
wanted to
stop it.
clarify.
No,
Thank
that's
you.
what
Because they had a
clarification is all
problem.
about. Let's give some closing thoughts from our guests because we got to wrap up. We've been going way too long. Closing thoughts tonight on the actual debate.
Yeah, on the
Harris and Trump.
Yeah, on the actual debate. There's a person with a record of
All right, you can pause it.
economic growth in this country. There's a person with a record.
All right, so we basically gonna close this out. We don't need to hear no more of that crap. But going back to you, Lena, real quick. From what you've seen, do you think? Because the rest of us, all of us agree 100% right now. Do you agree, or maybe you disagree? But do you think that the way the host was carrying? Oh, see, she out again. All right. So going back to you, Ms. Jackson, because I think you did want to say something. I was just trying to finish out the rest of the video. But did you have something that you wanted to say before I start
Oh,
the
no.
video back?
Oh, no, not really. Is it some noise you're hearing in the back on my end?
So do I think that
Yeah.
what? I got a
Yeah,
question.
it does have a little feedback. But yeah, just when you're not talking, just go ahead and mute for us, okay? So Lena, from what you had seen, do you think the host was kind of being a little problematic because she was at like chaos is okay, they arguing, she's starting to. So you gonna sit there and tell me it's okay? It is not okay. You trying to get the.
So if I did not respect this sister, she wouldn't be sitting there. You're gonna put some respect on that. We're not gonna sit up here. No, you can get frustrated and look down at all of that. Relax. But we gotta make sure we're very clear. This platform was designed to bring this sister here. So if there was no respect for this sister, she wouldn't be here. So let's make sure we're using the right context, brother. I don't mind you making the point about one sister going. This is the only sister on the stage that want to go. So let's also make that clear. Because I don't work in no White House. So I want to be clear about that. Everybody ain't trying to get a job in the White House. You can continue, but let's not act like she's not respected because she is. We just have a difference of opinion.
When people are yelling about who's a big dog,
I am a big dog.
and what I'm saying is,
I'm a big dog.
out of this whole stage, only one person was standing on the stage with the presidential
And only one
candidate.
person on this stage flipped Michigan. And only one person on this stage
Okay.
organized over 2,000 people every year. Only one person was a racial justice director for Bernie Sanders. Only one. Because remember, you don't want to do resumes because the sister already said she don't have no resume. So you might want to back that. Yeah, you did. You said you don't have like a resume. Ain't but one sister, the senior public policy advisor for Ben Crump. Let's go on to the next. Ain't but one sister signed a check for 1,000 people. Oh, baby, I know you don't want to start doing the only sister. I know you don't want to start doing the only sister receipts because ain't but one sister served in the United States Air Force. Let's go on to the next person.
This is
I don't
what
like
this is.
I don't like the slight. I don't like the
We
passive aggressive
have-
diss because I run these receipts down.
We
So
have
let's
to-
go on because ain't but one sister served this country on this here panel. So
4
let's
years from now, black people have to decide
Real quick,
what they're going
pause
to
it,
get at the end of the year.
This is another reason why she probably ain't got no damn man or woman, whatever she dates, because we also this is a problem we have with our females that's so fucking annoying. Are you telling me that we will listen as black men for years that our women do better jobs than us on organizing, being leaders, being people that can bring people together, being people that can be, giving information, all that. She's making these are the females that make other sisters look bad, is because the ones that will do a good thing, they gonna be also just doing their thing and being good. But then you got these females that they always want to give a microphone to. Shit, they're wearing a super thought fit, with one with the hands come out, whatever. But at the same time, you cut the man off. Let him finish what he got to say. I understand you got to say, we running short for time. Can you please finish your statement so we can answer or move on to the next subject? Cool. But I don't want to hear what you got to say because you don't like what you. Come on, man. Your resume don't mean shit right now. You don't look no different than the project chick, the hood rat chick, the side chick. You don't look no better than her because all you doing right now is acting the same way. So if you got intelligence, education, and she said she was in the Navy, I guarantee you weren't doing that with your sergeant because they would have kicked your punk ass out of it. Go ahead, Jay. You can hit play, Jay. You heard me? Okay, I guess Jaden.
And we're dealing with the disrespect right here. 4 years. What are black people going to get at the?
Because you heard her say she don't have the resume that I got. So go on to the next sister. I'm not gonna handle your passive aggressive distance. Baby, I'll run these receipts down on you. I'll run these receipts down on you. You talking to a whole veteran. So baby, ain't nobody impressed about working in the White House. I done turned it down. Ain't but one sister on here that on Fox News. Ain't but one that do 100 hits on Fox News. They don't call this sister. They call me. How many you doing here? How many do you do a year? I've literally done 30 in I do 100 every year. And I said what I do 100 per year. I do 100 per year. And I just came on the scene. I'm a big dog. So I love my sister. I love my sister, but you're not going to divide. But you can't deny
the real thing is going to be, we need to really talk about black people in 4 years. What are we going to get in 4 years? Let's not talk about the criminal. Let's not talk about the charges. 4 years. What are we going to, what is Harris promising black people in 4 years?
That was a valid question. That was a valid question. Let's get the next person up. I understand what.
Yeah, don't ever do that with me, though. Don't ever do that with me. You'll get your friend embarrassed. Play with your little friends.
I would never be embarrassed.
Yeah, I just want to speak to the people in the Christian community. As a Christian, I'm actually very disappointed in some of their point of views, including the abortion rights. Tell people, I've heard a couple of conversations, people saying that a man can't tell me what I need to do with my body. But as a Christian, I just feel like, how can you agree with something or someone who says, when the Lord had already said, do not murder? So how can you agree with somebody who said, yeah, let's go ahead and abort, even when they have came out the womb? You know what I'm saying? And then the lady back there who said, Kara, was that your name? Who said, how can we agree with someone who said grab people by the vagina? Well, as a Christian, I'm agreeing with Trump, and I don't identify with necessarily either party, but this year I am Team Trump because of his policies. Most of the ones, when I go by line, they agree with Jesus' principles that's laid out in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be mad at someone whose half of his principles is aligned with the Bible. I can't disagree with someone who is against the LGBTQIA, DEI plus agendas with men, including men, playing in women's sports. I can't agree with someone who's going to, do the abortion. I can't, not do the abortion ban. I cannot agree with someone who's going to go ahead and take away our gun reform when in the Bible, Jesus is actually for us protecting ourselves. Somewhere in Luke, he definitely said, here's 2 swords.
Okay.
That is enough.
So let's let because she was talking to her in the pink, so she wanted to comment. Come on, sister, we're running out of time.
Okay. The first thing God called us to do is love.
Correct.
And I think a lot of our speech, yes, 100% has been inflammatory, but he's called us to love and not judge.
Correct.
Second thing God gave us is free will. It's not up to us to decide the cost of somebody's sins and how we're going to act out this person's punishment. So when you sit there and say that Trump's policies align with Jesus Christ, do you hear his speech? Do you hear his speech though?
Work on his heart.
But God says in the Bible, judge a man by his fruits. His fruits. Hold on. No, please don't talk over me. His fruits are inflammatory. His fruits are rotten. So please don't disrespect my Jesus Christ like that. Okay, my family was and let me also go back just a little bit more. My family was very instrumental. And let me also say, my family was very instrumental. Is this mic on? Can people hear me?
I feel like it
was
go ahead. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
And I'm also saying this as a person whose family was instrumental in founding the AME Church. I don't know where your relationship with God went wrong. And I'll retract that because I can't judge where you're, but I think you need to go back to the Bible a little bit more and have some one-on-one time with him to really think about whether the person that you're calling to represent this country actually represents Jesus Christ or whether he's actually thwarting Jesus' word.
You said that I'm disrespecting Jesus Christ. But what's disrespectful when he is the one who creates life? I think anybody who's a Christian can say he is the end all be all. He is the Alpha and Omega. He is the only one responsible for life. So what is disrespectful to the Lord Jesus Christ is him giving you a baby and giving you life and you dropping it at his feet saying, I don't want it because you don't want to control who you having sex with. If you do not want to have a baby with somebody that you don't want a baby with, you don't need to be having sex with that person. Maybe you need to close your legs. Maybe that's what you need to do because you just don't want to be responsible with your body count. You want to use I don't want a man telling me what to do with my body as an output and as an excuse. But that is not. When you telling me I'm disrespectful and I need to revisit, maybe you need to revisit.
Okay, so when you relax. We wanted to balance. We want nobody. We got
irrelevant conversation.
How is it irrelevant?
Hold on.
It's irrelevant, young lady. It's irrelevant because there's a such thing called separation between church and state. Your religious beliefs, if you will just let me finish, your religious beliefs do not supersede my right as an American to not subscribe to that if I so choose. The government does not allow, the government is not inside my bedroom. The government shouldn't be inside your bedroom. What you do between you and God, you'll sort it out when you go seek salvation later. But for the government to try and sort that out through law makes no sense because this is not, everyone in this country is not Christian.
Well, one thing about it, but no, when I first came up here, I said, as a Christian, I'm disappointed in the Christian's point of view.
Please don't disrespect me or yourself. Okay? Please do not.
The way you just did by saying this before killing the baby when you said don't murder, that disrespect, is that the same disrespect we're talking about?
Now, wait a minute.
Okay.
Deaconess Figaro said, let's let everybody have
Figaro, go ahead.
Let's let everybody have, Deaconess, let him finish his point, and then we got to let somebody else come up.
Go ahead, because I do want to hear what you were saying. Go ahead.
Yes. What I am saying is that all of that is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
You should sort that out with your church.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be sorting that out with government officials. Because guess what? There are people who also interpret the Bible to say that it justified your enslavement, that justifies you being mistreated as a Black person based on their biblical interpretation. Do you want that codified into law? No. So if you don't want that codified into law on the other side, you should probably just take your religious beliefs and have them inside of your house of faith.
I can't.
So we're done. Hold on. We're moving on.
I just want to make one
No.
sentence.
I can't because they're literally having me. We got to move on. We got to move on.
And you got to respect me. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I can get up in here real quick because I was respecting her first. If she has authority, there's no need for you to jump in when somebody else is speaking. You have been on 10 since we've been in here. You need to take your emotions out of it because I am listening to everybody else's opinion. It's you.
It's good to be alone for a minute in the confession room. Niggas is wildin'.
Who needs to take your authority out?
Yeah, you go ahead and pause it, Jay.
Debate after debate show.
So see, this is the sad shit that we talking about. The whole start of this shit, and like Jackson said, like this is that ratchet, abomination type shit, man, for real. Because you ain't nobody having a sensible conversation. Everybody yelling at each other. They acting like they about to fight, but they hollering they Christians over there in the cut. What are we really even talking about? Like, she said some real shit. The other one said some real shit into her, diatribe spill she was doing and all that. But it was some bullshit. It was But my question would be to you, why is it that you think that's better to stick with the Democrat as Black people versus being more independent, where we're going to vote more on the policy versus just worrying about who's Democrat, who's Republican, and we just going to go with the Democrats? You there, Lena? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Jay because Lena probably got to get her audio together or she working or something. So Jay, we know the shit that we talk. So what's your thoughts on that, man? Reiterate for the people that don't get it when we, made the show like, hey, both are plantation and we need to leave both.
Okay.
Oh, okay, there she go. All right,
sorry,
did you hear my question, Lena?
So much is going on in my house. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, cool. I'll repeat it real quick. I know you're a Democrat, but my question would be to you. We know the history. We've done the videos many times that both have been plantations to Black folks. It was good starting out to get our votes, but now they get complacent and they think they're just gonna get our votes. So why stick with either plantations versus being independent and going with what party that has the best policies? Not meaning aligning with the party, but when it comes to certain individual candidates, we need to just go off policy versus just going off us being Democrats.
I see what you're saying, and they have been giving offers less we did after the last election. Only thing we got was a holiday. But I feel like we get more bang from our buck with Democrats. Statistically, blacks do better underneath Democrats. Also, I was looking at what's happening. Like I think Dr. Umar Johnson addressed it. We are losing a lot of political power because our rate of growth in the country is basically the same. I think it's 12, 1400 or whatever, but you got so many people that are seeking to be citizens with this country, so they're offering them money. So we are fighting for that person's votes or them to address issues. Why would they come to black people if we got a smaller demographic than Hispanics that are coming here? You see what I'm saying? Dr. Umar, he's like they're using Hispanic vote to get rid of the black vote.
Okay, but I mean, like I said, like if you look at just being real, when you hold on, Red, when you look at the stats, you look at the cities that have majority of black people most of the time. Detroit, St. Louis, Dallas, you know what I'm saying? You look at Chicago, you look at all these certain places, New York, you know what I'm saying, Buffalo, you look at all these places, Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville especially. We got a lot of things that's going on that's bad for our people that's not getting worked out. And these are a lot of times Democrat ran places. So how do we fare better under them? Is it them and not really working with us in the policies? Or does that mean that us as black folks just need to do better? Do we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps like Republicans say?
No, I think we need, if we had help in destroying the black community and so many things that's happening, we're gonna need help to be pulled up by the bootstraps. And so many other cultures that came to this country got it. They giving immigrants from other countries money and help. Why can't they help the American citizens that they destroyed? I don't believe with the Republicans about pulling yourselves up by the bootstraps, because it's bullshit. They don't believe themselves. You see all the corporate welfare they gave out and companies that they bailed out, especially when that housing market crash. Didn't tell those companies to pull up those banks and stuff. They didn't tell them pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They gave them money. It seems like money and welfare is only cool if you're wealthy. When you poor, it's get off your ass.
That wasn't the question.
You said should we pull ourselves
she
out?
answered. No, she answered the way I needed her to. So this is the thing, real quick, but I'm about to go to Jay after this. I'm gonna make this statement and go to Jay. So I hear what you're saying, Lena, but the problem is when you look at it with both sides, when black folks were doing good, we were doing better under Republicans, right? But the problem was when things that were going wrong, Republicans didn't do what they needed to do to keep our votes. That's the complacency. Then when you see what happened with Democrats, once we got more with them in the 60s under JFK, what ended up happening? They gave out welfare and all of this shit, and a lot of us took it. A lot of us wanted the integration and all of that stuff. Then once we got that, things got worse in our communities. We just got complacent and lazy like a motherfucker. But going to you, Jay, go ahead and break it down how you know how to do. I ain't gotta say shit. Go ahead.
Look, we've been talking about it for a long time, and I still to this day have people that I'm trying to convince of it. Me personally, I don't fuck with neither one of them niggas, Democrats or Republicans. People still to this day say, "Oh, you got liberal. You're a liberal because your views." I'm like, bitch, I got conservative views. I'm over there. I'm over there with them boys when it's like the abortion shit. I'm over there with them boys when we say we need to lock up our border. But I'm also over there with motherfuckers when it's like, bitch, we talked about the police. We talked about, well, I ain't gonna say reparations. It's a liberal thing, but motherfuckers liberals ain't gonna goddamn do it. But when it comes to the grand scheme thing, like it's beautiful that we actually this is actually how you should have a conversation. This is a prime example of how to do it again. And not the people that's getting paid all this motherfucking money, because we pretty much saw that we had a ratchet ass. I'm calling her ratchet, and people tell me I'm being mean to her. She was ratchet, and she had that I'm a big dog type mindset. She wasn't the boss bitches, and that doesn't. It's not conducive to a conversation, especially about stuff that's supposed to be important to folks that look like us. Not you, Red, but folks that look like us. Got to make sure I made that distinguish. But nah, like
I'm albino.
you ain't albino. You a white black person.
Yeah.
You're a white black person that don't like black people. That's the perfect way to
Not
put it.
all.
I'm fine.
Hashtag not all.
Not all.
White on lives matter.
But no, like no bullshit. Like that was a bad representation, and that's Diddy's old shit. Revolt, that's his old shit. And this is what they constantly keep putting. When I know Red alluded to it about the media.
Dude,
the
this
media
was really
brainwashing.
Diddy's. You're right. Diddy did start this.
But it's that he not a part of it no more. When this happened, he wasn't a part of it no more. But this is his shit. But alluding back to your point, the media manipulation when it comes to shit and the representation that it shows. It's showing that ain't showing black people in the best light at all. Literally putting niggas on there and saying, look, black folks, this y'all. And it's the same thing when it comes to our news, when it comes to everything, the entertainment that we looked at. Because we even heard two of them bitches on there talking about Glorilla was their girl. Oh, I love Glorilla. You talking about fuck nigga free standing in front of Planned Parenthood talking about aborting their kids? That's the bitch you talking about?
Yeah.
The brainwashing is on level 10, but like my thoughts, like when it comes to this, like me and Al, we have the same understanding. Like fuck both of these bitches. Republicans, I'm not looking for them to save us. I'm not looking for Democrats, and I might only start looking at one of them to save us when one of them actually say they're gonna do something for us as black people. Like everybody else, like all other races of people, man, that's y'all handling y'all own shit like y'all been doing on the regular. But for black folks, I need
Hold on, Miss Jackson. Mute your mic real quick. I'm gonna come to you next, but mute your mic. We're still getting feedback. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm just saying, for black folks, like we need to be the ones that actually finally come to the party, because we're the only ones that haven't came to the party and actually ask for shit for ourselves. Like that black dude that she told her, like, yeah, you gonna get up out of here, whatever the hell. His final thoughts was, what is Kamala gonna do for black people? Well, the question need to be, what are either one of them gonna do for black people? And that's something that none of them have said. Literally, the only person you had even mentioned somebody like us is saying, Kamala saying, like, nah, I'm not gonna do nothing for y'all. I'm gonna do shit for all Americans. And because black people so poor, they'll get something because I'm doing something for everybody else. But nah, it's not. Nah, we need to. Y'all know what we need to do. I can't beat that dead horse. It's your show. You got it. I can't keep beating that dead horse. I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, so Jackson, I see you muted because you were ready to say something. So Jackson, go ahead.
One thing I did want to say, I did agree with a comment the black lady said about abortion. That overall black women are keeping their babies. So if you look at the percentage and the rate, that's not too tough going on in the black community as far as abortion goes. But I was just speaking on that. I thought about it, crossed my mind, but that's pretty much a true statement. As far as the black women, they're keeping their babies. But yeah.
I'll put this. He must have thought you was going to talk for a second.
No. Yeah. So actually, I hear what you're saying, Jackson, but this is what's the issue. So we're seeing the birth, because even Lena spoke about this maybe a few weeks ago. So the amount of babies that black women are having these days, that number is going down. So I'm not gonna say it's all to deletion of babies, but some of it is. So
a lot of it is deletion of babies. A lot of it is going to college, being a boss bitch.
Exactly.
The fertility rate is now officially below replacement for the Black community.
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that.
So I hear what you're saying, Jackson, but this is the problem. A lot of times that is a lie. They do, when they come to our community, that is what they speak to. But just like Michaela said, and I don't even care for her that much, but just like she said, which was some real shit, they categorize it and they color it up with saying reproductive rights. I've had so many conversations with Black women that have argued, oh, it's my body, my choice. But then when we say, no, don't give the government that right. Don't sit there and tell me that should be in a healthcare plan. Don't sit there and tell me that you don't want control of what they do, but you mean to tell me you go do some stupid shit and you want them to clean it up. As a matter of fact, you want them to pay for it. But at the same time, they will argue with men, all races of men in this country, that say, okay, well, if that's the case, then we should be allowed to have a financial abortion. If not, then when the baby is born, whether we're married or single, we should have the right to get a DNA test for free. And then we would hear women scream and holler and cry from the mountaintops. No, they don't need to pay for that. So my thing is, it's bullshit. It's wrong for our communities. If you know about Margaret Sanger and all these, they started in the Black community with the abortions. That's the only way she got away with that shit, because the white community was not going for that shit at first. So that lets you know, with all the abortions that we had over time, that we're still having to this day, or whether our sisters that are deciding to, I'm gonna be a boss bitch and not get married, have a family, but still might go out and have babies. So there are some still doing it, of course. But at the same time, it's hurting our community, and we have to be honest about it, that it is happening in our community, and it is our women that is following behind that bullshit.
Yeah, it started off, like I said, I agree, it definitely started off in the Black community. But of course, it didn't become a serious problem till that crossed over to the other races. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was just kind of looking at the majority out of the percentage, and I don't think from where it originally started, I don't think the percentage is as high now in the Black community than in others.
Yeah, right now it might be different. I ain't gonna hold on that. Like right now, I ain't gonna hold on. The thing that I think a lot of Black men and me and I were gonna stress on, you heard the guy earlier say 25 million. That's crazy. That's crazy. And the other guy said, I ain't worrying about what white people doing. I'm worrying about what we doing. That's the big issue. Like, if we gonna sit here and argue for what we want as Black folks, what we need as a community, like, look, and we got to address the problems in our own too. And it's like, I don't give a fuck what them white women doing. At the end of the day, what we doing? Like, what are we doing? What the Black men doing? Fuck what the white dudes doing. What we doing as Black men? So it's like, I think that's gonna be the point that a lot of Black dudes fall on when it comes to the issue. But I feel you. It ain't like right now. Hell, it ain't. There's levels to this shit. There's levels to this shit, and Black women ain't winning that race right now. Right now. But it was killing.
Let me ask you an alpha question. So if Donald Trump came out and said, you know what? In all the states that allow abortions, I'm going to write a federal bill that means men can have financial abortions to the equivalent. Would you vote for Trump?
Nah, that ain't enough.
Starvation. You're in the middle of the Alaskan tundra.
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm pushing these buttons. I already know. But if you're lost in the Alaskan tundra, who are you trusting? Who are you trusting?
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that.
Finish your final thought, Jay.
I got your final thoughts. To answer Ren's question, obviously I'm gonna pick the man if it's a life or death situation. But y'all heard the man. That's a bad representation of us, and we really need to be more hyper focused regardless of which party you're rooting for. What is the federal government going to do for you? I don't care what race you are. That should be your number one priority. All that other shit is just cupcake shit. People act like they give a fuck about their fellow Americans. They'll shoot their fellow Americans. What are they going to do for you? And if your politicians ain't working for you, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they taking our money? And like Red said, it'll trickle down. We can get to the police. We can get to the schools. We can get to everything because they're the ones at the top. So, yeah, fuck them all unless they doing something for you. You ain't telling me you doing something for me, you ain't getting my goddamn vote. Final thoughts.
That's real talk. So we about to go ahead and close out, y'all. Jay, you can drop the link again for anybody who wanna come up for the back chat. But appreciate y'all coming up.
Why you trying to invite everybody to the after party, man?
They'll have about 5 minutes to kick the bobo. But appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody for coming up. Y'all don't forget your boy Big Op. I mean, you can still go to my regular channel to God when I get it back, which is Op for the North 18. But
life in the hands of a random man or a random woman.
The mascot for a group of people. It was a bad representation of black people. And I know there'll be some white person in a suburban neighborhood in Midwest Iowa or some shit like that will come across this shit and be like, yeah, that's how they are. And that's not the case. That's them motherfuckers up on that panel. But in the grand scheme of things, like, we're in the presidential election season, man. I'm gonna stand on where I stand when it comes to like fuck both of them. But like, for real, man, I'm ready to see what America's actually gonna choose. Will America get over that hump and actually pick a woman, or are they gonna go back to this dude that I think has major problems? But I think both of them have major problems anyways. But are they gonna pick a woman or are they gonna pick him? I'm ready to see. Honestly, I really am ready to see what we talked about this last night. But
Would you rather put your life in the hands of a random man or a random woman?
What's the situation?
I don't know. Maybe you're lost in the woods and you need someone to guide you out.
Yeah, well, guide me out. I don't want to go with exception. I'm gonna sound like one of
Exactly.
Clearly I'm picking man. Like, I can't gotta keep it honest, but yeah, how random is that? But either way though, yeah, I have to pick a guy, but it's kind of fucked up for me because I'm like, I know how to get out of the woods. So it's kind of fucked up to put myself in a position of not knowing
What if it's
how to
Alaska?
get the fuck out.
It's Alaska.
Use a better illustration.
It's like that's a super hypothetical for me.
Yeah, use
'cause
a
I'm
better illustration.
Like
Yeah,
my
you're
life is on the line.
lost. Yeah, your life's on the line. You're dying of starvation. You're in the middle of the Alaskan tundra.
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm pushing these buttons. I already know.
It's like that's a super hypothetical for me. For you. And if your politicians ain't working for you, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they taking our money? And like Red said, it'll trickle down. We can get to the police, we can get to the schools, we can get everything because they're the ones at the top. So yeah, fuck them all unless they doing something for you. You ain't telling me you doing something for me, you ain't getting my goddamn vote. Final thoughts.
That's real talk. So we about to go ahead and close out, y'all. Jay, you can drop the link again for anybody who wanna come up for the back chat. But appreciate y'all coming up.
Why you trying to invite everybody to the after party, man?
They'll have about 5 minutes to kick the bobo. But appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody for coming up. Y'all don't forget your boy Big Op. I mean, you can still go to my regular channel to God when I get it back, which is Out for the North 18. But Big Op 2024 is where I do my content for now. Red Illusion, y'all can go check him out at Red Illusion. Jackson, you still don't do shows, right?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'll be coming up here pretty soon.
All right, for sure. And y'all already know with JVJ. Let's talk with JVJ. But right now we here on the JVJ network. If y'all really want to fuck with all of us, come over here, man. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Jay, man, you already know how we close this thing out, man. Do what you do.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Go ahead, do what
he don't want to click the button. We catch y'all in this as always, man. Peace.